Well, good morning. It's Monday morning. Oh, it's Monday morning. Well, not too bad. Rather nice coming into this place, the White Hart Hotel, from the premises from which we broadcast each morning at 8:30, going through on and off until 11 o'clock. And normally some interesting stuff for you. And today we've got some interesting stuff from New York. The head of an opera house there, and along with Suzanne Mouchot, our regular correspondent, and a good chat about what's happening in music in the Big Apple. And one or two other things that are poddling along. But the main story is Sunak is about to meet his Waterloo or not. He says he's got a Brexit deal. A lot of his backbenchers, again, the old backbenchers, are getting into the act saying he hasn't. And who's going to win out this time? Well, who knows? It is never, ever quiet in Westminster. The only thing is that all their busy stuff is getting on with stuff that means nothing to the average man in the street. Right? Inflation remains, promises that it's going to go down. Inflation remains, cost of living continues to increase. Money is harder to get. You name it. We've got all those problems. Do the people in Westminster care? Not in the least. They're all too busy quarrelling about their own little backyard barnstorming things. Anyway, that's that. And what we are going to do is take you through to to 9 o'clock by looking at the news, and then after that we will we'll be busy actually busy doing nothing, working the whole day through, trying to find lots of things not to do up until 9:30. And we will bring you, as usual, a little snippet of some local stuff before going at 10 o'clock to New York and the advent of our special opera guest this morning. All right, okay, let's just catch up on something before we go to the headlines. All right, there we are. That's the weather for you, and it's not looking bad outside at the moment. It's a bit parky this morning, waiting for the bus, but it is warming up nicely, and in fact, it's 4 degrees now, a high of 8. Right, okay, the Daily Express. Rishi, this new Brexit deal is best for Britain. That's what the Express is saying, and that's what is saying that the Prime Minister is saying. The trouble is that there are two things about that headline this morning from the Express. The Express is a government-supported newspaper and goes along wherever it can with the government. And secondly, the lady that Sunak is dealing with is a very typical bureaucrat from Europe, from the EU. She's been hauled into court a couple of times, I think, on dodgy dealings, and she certainly has not covered herself in glory, either from competence or from vision. Are we dealing with the right person? Well, that's who the EU have chosen. That's my big beef with the EU, is that they choose secretly. They keep it in the club, and half the people, 3/4 of the people, in fact, let's go halfway, all but about 5% of the people that are in power shouldn't be there. They're incompetent. They are completely and utterly useless, and yet they keep on appointing one another to these things. No wonder the world is in such a mess. No wonder the system is not appropriate for what we can expect. However, we are in Brexit mode, and morning, mostly the Metro Brexit. Ursula von der Way to Britain. So actually, they concentrate on Britain is on the brink of. Let's see. Britain is close to ending its Brexit nightmare over Northern Ireland. That's what the Metro is saying. The paper reports the PM will meet the European Commission President for final talks at lunchtime. Yes, quite right. Daily Mail. As EU Chief von der Leyen flies in today to shake hands over Northern Ireland at Windsor meeting, the burning question is, can Sunak sell his Brexit deal? Well, the paper says the new agreement could trigger further or new Tory civil war. Oh dear! No matter how much you admire the sentiment, you wish that they would stop fighting about all these things. Dear. Let's see. The next one, The Guardian. Sunak and von der Leyen to hold final talks on revised Brexit deal. So all much of a muchness. The Guardian says that the Prime Minister will have to convince the hardline Tory Brexiteers and the Democratic Unionist Party in Belfast, who both have said they will only give a verdict on the new deal once they have read the full and final text. The paper says number 10 is braced for a potentially hostile response. Well, there we go. The Daily Telegraph. EU chief flies in to seal Brexit deal as a revolt ruse. I can't think that her presence is going to do a hell of a lot of good, actually. Maybe we're going to be proved wrong. The Telegraph also says the potential of a Tory revolt over the New Deal is also the lead story. The paper reports that the paper reports that Tory Eurosceptics and the DUP say they will not back any agreement unless EU law is expunged from Northern Ireland. There are also concerns around whether MPs will be given a vote on the deal. Well, there you go. The Financial Times, UK and EU set to seal Brexit deal on bitter Northern Ireland trade disputes. It goes along with the mass popular folk this morning. And okay, right. What does the FT say? The deal is basically there. Both an EU and UK official tells the Financial Times the number of MPs opposed to the deal could be limited to about 30. That's according to the Prime Minister's allies. Well, they banded these figures around, don't they, ahead of time to see who else might decide which camp to join. Elsewhere, the paper features an image of survivors sitting on a beach after a shipwreck killed at least 59 people off southern Italy. Well, that happened towards the end of last week, but tragic it still is all the same. Okay. Yes. Better you should look at me. Okay. When these things go wrong, they throw you totally. Because it takes you a little while to get back and to concentrate. There we go. Okay, so the time is 8:42, and it is the 27th day of February 2023. My God, this month really went quickly. It really did. I can remember sneering at the preparations for uh, Valentine's Day, and that was only yesterday. So I don't have any Valentines. Mind you, I'm up for grabs. I mean, I'm up for uh, auction if anybody wants. But may I warn you that if you're going to bid for me, the hat comes with me. I'm not leaving this hat anywhere. So just in case. The Times. I've won big concessions from the EU, says Sunak. The Sun. Uh, After we owed justice for Joanna, and Raab has promised to meet her family, and that is justice for Joanna is reports that the family of murdered Joanna Simpson will meet the Justice Secretary amid fears over her killer's parole bid. That's right, he's coming up for parole after only having spent half of his sentence. Mirror. Act now, or millions face bills held. The government told to stop the £500 rise and maintain support payment. They're going back there to energy and the issues of fuel bills, and it's quite right as it should. There's going to be tremendous hardship for a lot of people. And the trouble is that when things start to get easy at the top, which they undoubtedly are at the moment, then we find that there isn't the same focus on some things that are equally important. It drifts off, and so we lose sight of it, lose face. But it doesn't mean to say that stories aren't ongoing. Of course they are, and we just have to see what we're getting. Anyway, I'm rambling a wee bit there. The Daily Star. Gone to the dogs. What's that, lassie? You're nearly extinct? Well, apparently the Star has decided to go to the canine world, and that the TV legend Lassie, a collie dog, is no longer in favour with pet owners, as only 500 of his breed were born late last year. By gum, lad. It's, so those are the newspaper headlines. let's have a look at, if we can, at locals, anything locals of interest. And I think the main one is that a bird flu concern is being expressed by government agencies that 50% of human cases are ending in fatality. And apparently there is a real outbreak of bird flu again. So do be careful what you eat and what you touch and so on. I laughed at myself really as you get into a habit. Whenever I go into a newsagent's, I always don't pick up the top paper on the cover. I actually take the second one down, and that goes back to trying to avoid the COVID crisis and virus. I think we're okay for that. Now let's just take a brief look at. Let's see. Uh-huh. Well, we get the funniest things here. You never quite know what on earth is going to come up. Hi. There we go. Right, Sussex Live. That's where the warning came from over the new foul avian flu. So that's prominent in the news outlets of this region. Let's see. Laurel Aldridge's family say losing a wonderful person has left them broken. With all the hassle about other more famous people, Laurel Aldridge is a tribute to a wonderful mum after her body was found in Woodland near Arundel. It doesn't look as if there's any foul play anticipated. That's the way that it is. Now, I'm just trying to make sure that we don't leave anything that is perhaps very important. Because news is a living, vital thing, of course, as you would well know. And things happen so quickly, it's easy for black to become white and vice versa. No, the bird flu concern is there. And it is a warning of a new pandemic. So just if you're handling chicken stuff and so on, be very careful. Not a great deal else. Not much overnight. So that's the basically the news. It's 8:50. Let us. It irritates some people. This one. Let us irritate. I like irritating. It's when people's goats are up, they start to swear that they'll become part of any system to help alter it, and then of course within 5 minutes they're totally and utterly forgotten. How far have we come from the days when we had medieval knights roaming the town? standing guard in the Priory. Oh dear. I'm just looking to make sure that we haven't actually diddled ourselves. I don't see that we have. I think that's we are on top of everything. So I'm not going to worry too much. My rant, if you like, my rant for the day is once again computers. We are allowing them to dominate us instead of the other way around. And it's got to stop. And the retail banking industry, the retail financial industry are the worst culprits. They have abandoned their ability to manage, to innovate, to the question of whether, in fact, we should be using computers. Well, you can't do it that way. It's got to be a mixture of human resources and technology. If we don't do it that way, we're going to be in dreadful trouble. And it looks as if we're heading for dreadful trouble in this way too. Many people that I've spoken to over the weekend expressed complete and utter dissatisfaction to the people from who do the weather and so on. We depend far too much on computers. We allow them to dominate our lives. And when they go wrong, we do nothing to put them right. And then just accept the fact that when they go right again, is the computer generates blame. It is not on. And if the industry and industries are not prepared to do things themselves, then we must force the government to act and do it for us on our behalf. We are already staring at a town centre here, which used to be a vibrant, throbbing market town. Well, it doesn't do too badly, but it's nowhere near what it was. And the reason being is that the people have stopped coming here. And yet the computer says, this is a desirable place to live. You mustn't worry about the high prices of property because it's worthwhile. Well, it's becoming less and less a nice place to live. And it's more and more dependent upon us to say to people, listen, there are drawbacks to such a high-priced town. It is very disappointing that that particular sector will not regulate itself more, because eventually the cries such as I made there, the pleas, will let things happen that will help to destroy not only the British economy, but our way of life. And that's the real worry. And we're walking into it. Nobody can see it coming, except me. And I'm a voice in the wilderness at the moment. And that is very sad. Right, okay. Let's just remind you of the weather before we actually go off. Okay, here we are back again, and it's now 8:56, 8:57 in fact. It's time for us to take our half-hour break because getting in the morning, it takes a little time to shake out the cobwebs. So we have a time for reflection and to worry about what we're going to talk to you about next, and to line up our guest, who this morning is a leading musician and opera house impresario in New York, and he will be with Suzanne Musho at 10 o'clock. Interesting bloke, and apparently a very engaging chap. So why not join in at approximately 10 o'clock with both these people from overseas, Suzanne, a regular, and her guests to be introduced to the delights of Mirador television, but also the delights of East Sussex, and particularly Lewis. Righto. I think that will keep us in the straight and narrow until we come back at 9:30. And then join you with these guests at 10 o'clock, which should then take us through to the close down for the morning. Oh, doesn't time go when you're having fun? It's Monday morning. Not everything goes smoothly, but it's gone a bit more smoothly than it has in previous Mondays. So let's hope that's a good sign. Right you are. Right you are. I think that we might. Should we try and fill something else? We could, I suppose. Yeah, we could. Well. Shall we see if we can find? No. Yeah, I think that we'll just take it through to. Oh, it's 8:59 anyway. God bless it. I think it's. Stirrings of Life. This just after the pandemic. That's a really rather nice one to take.